Hey everyone, it's Neen here from the Hyperactive Bookworm. I am here today to do the April wrap-up. So this is the first month I've kind of tried to do a wrap-up of the books I've read. I'm not going to do full reviews of all of the books, but I will go into a little more detail of my top 3. So this month, April, I read 12 books. 10 of them are Lesfic. These are the books I've read for April. All right, so The Skeleton Key by Tara Moss. This is the 3rd book in her Pandora English series. They're fun. Like, she's a 18-year-old who's escaped her small town. She's an orphan. She has come to live with her great aunts, and the adventures that have happened and the truth of herself and her parents are slowly coming out. Now, this book I actually really enjoyed. I feel like Pandora English is actually coming more into herself. She's getting a bit older, a bit more knowledgeable about the magic world that she's now embroiled in. So yeah, I do not recommend in any way, shape or form the narration. I found it so hard. The narration I really struggled with. So that's The Skeleton. That's a non-Lesfic book. All right, this is one of my favorites for the month. Backwards to Oregon by Jay. This is definitely a 5-star book. I love it. Love it. I actually read it on ebook and then had to order the paperback because it is just incredible. It's set in 1850s, pretty sure. 1846 it starts in the prequel, and then 1851 is sort of the lineal time frame that goes on. And it's incredible. It's about Lieutenant Luke Hamilton, who in the prequel, so it's not really a spoiler, you find out that Luke is actually female born but living as a man. And it's about his adventures heading, he's left the regiment, and he is now heading to Oregon to start his life away from ties and attachments, and to start his life. So it's amazing. And Nora is, well, I don't want to give it away, but Nora is the other main character, and they're both so delicious. There's another book about these characters and I cannot wait to get it. So that's definitely one of my top for April. Yes, Lesfic, brilliant. Second book was Gideon the Ninth, another Lesfic. This one is so fantastic. I love how there's that lesbian necromancers explore a haunted gothic place in space. Yeah. The world building in this is just so unbelievably brilliant, and it rips your heart out and it breaks you and it pulls you back together, and there's skeletons and there's magic, and Gideon is just the best character ever. I cannot wait. I've got Harrow the Ninth sitting there waiting to read. Cannot wait. This book is fabulous. It was a reread and I will reread it again. All right, Lesfic book. The next one was The Power of Mercy by Fiona Zed. It's part of a superheroine collection, and it's gritty and it's dark, and it could be quite trigger warning, but it's just so fantastic. And Fiona Zed is amazing. I actually did a video with her. It's a previous video on here where I chatted to her about The Power of Mercy and about writing and life. All right, the next book, another Lesfic, is Magic, Murder and Mistletoe by Ellen Jane. It's a witch cozy mystery, and it's so nice to have a cozy mystery with lesbian characters. Lesfic cozy mystery It's delightful. It was a good book. I felt like not all the information was tied up, which could be to do with the fact that it's book one of a series. I'm not sure how many there are or if the author's still writing them. It was an enjoyable palate cleanser. It's not something you would get for a deep and meaningful sort of book. I loved I'm not sure if the author did it intentionally, but it felt like there was this almost homage or sort of Alice in Wonderland sort of feel, especially with the talking flowers. Talking flowers, you gotta love it. All right, the next one was actually another novella I read by Haley Cass. Forever and a Day, A Those Who Wait story by Haley Cass. Those Who Wait was just a phenomenal book. And this carries on from that book. And it was so much more than I expected. I thought it would sort of be like a year after or something. And it goes so much more than that. You get their life. And it's so beautiful. Haley continues to write in her rhythm, and her voice is so great, and the characters stay true to themselves, and it's just a delight. You just want to give it a big warm hug after it. The next book is another one of my favorites for the month, another Lesfic, Aurora's Angel by Emily Neen. Now, everyone was going on about this book for ages and ages, and I refrained from getting it because the more someone tells me to do something, the less I'm likely to do it. However, I finally read it and I get it. So it's a shapeshifter book, but it's not like any shapeshifter book I've read. It's not all this focus on just the shape shifting. They're people, they're humans, they have all this personality and dynamics and layers, and the writing is absolutely beautiful. And it was hilarious. There were a few parts where I literally had tears of laughter rolling down my face because I could not stop laughing, and it was just placed so perfectly with the rhythm of the tension and these breathers where you could just let loose and laugh and let go of some of the tension. There was one part that I just really stuck with me, and if you've read it or if you go to read it, maybe see if you can pick it, but it just reminded me as like a homage to The Princess Bride about it's similar to the scene where they have that duel of wits, and it's and the ears you keep, and here's why. And yeah, this part absolutely cracked me up in the book, and it was great. And the world building of Aurora's Angel, oh my gosh, it was fabulous. So I didn't know, and I don't think you do kind of know, and hopefully this isn't too much of a spoiler, but it's sort of like a parallel world, I guess. It's Earth exists. We discover about halfway through, but there's a portal to Earth, and there's so much grit and gore and horror with the cutters, and I cannot wait to read more of Emily Neen's work. So that's definitely my second top for the month of April. The next book I read was actually first book of a series. I believe she's up to book 10 now. So this is the Pink Bean series from Harper Bliss. So I read the first book, No Strings Attached. It was it's a really good coming out later in life story. The characters were great. I really loved the setting of the cafe. It just brought so many dynamics into everything. I'm curious about the rest of the series. I want to read more of the series. it was good. Like, it was enjoyable, and I will read more. Okay, the next one was another short book. I read quite a few short books this month. This is a novella. I believe it's a prequel to the Tower of the Earth series by Nita Round, and this one's called A Pinch of Salt. And it was good. It took me a little bit to get into it. Like, the first two kind of chapters or snippets, I guess, were really intense and you wanted more. And then it sort of slowed down. And to me, it almost slowed down too much. But then it got back into the rhythm and it was fantastic. So it is a steampunk novella. And it was a quick, easy read, and not the best written book, but definitely worth it. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I am actually looking forward to reading more of the series because I really liked the characters and I want to know what happens with them. Okay, the next book. Oh my gosh. I'm so in love with Lee Winter's writing. She is just fantastic. So I read The Red Files. This is one of her older books. This is the third of my top for the month. And it was just so good. There is so much about her writing that I get so swept up in. This book was one of the few books that when I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about the characters and I wanted to get back to them and I wanted to know what was happening. If I could have, I would have read it all in one sitting just because I didn't want to stop reading it. It's about reporters who go on a story. There's the rookie reporter and the Ice Queen reporter, enemies to lovers sort of story. It was fabulous. Lee Winter is the master, the mistress, the queen of the Ice Queens, and this shows it again. So I absolutely recommend this book more than anything else. It also made me realize how much I love single point of view books. So many Lesfic books, a lot of them are romance and a lot of them are two point of views, which I get and I actually really enjoy that, but I love single point of views. So if you know any Lesfic books that are single point of view, tell me in the comments because I want to read more single point of view. There is something delicious about not knowing for sure the internal thoughts of the other characters, of the other main character, about trying to figure out what their motivations are for what they do, what they say, without knowing for sure. It's so human and real, and it makes you just feel the tensions stronger. At least Lee Winter does it brilliantly. So yes, absolutely get it. All right, next book, another Lesfic, yay, is Code of Conduct by Cheyenne Blue. I love Aussie books. I love being able to read about books that are set in my world, my country. And not just that, but ones that I can relate to. So Code of Conduct is a sport Lesfic romance about a tennis player and an official. That's it, an official. And it's so great. And I mean, it's set around the Australian Open. The characters are just so beautiful. I love the main character. Viva, she is just awesome. She's a country girl. I can relate to her. And Cheyenne Blue's writing is just, it's a little bit seductive. You get sucked into it and you want to know everything about the characters, or at least I did. And I really, really loved it. I'm so excited because Cheyenne Blue is actually going to be on the Les Fiction Book Club in May. I'm actually doing Code of Conduct as one of the books for the month, and I'm so excited because she has agreed to come on, and I am just so excited to pick her brain about her writing. So love this book, love her writing, will be reading more of her stuff. if you want to, you know, read things about some Australian characters set in Australia, she is the go-to for the Lesfic Australian books. I really enjoy the just the real the real characters, the real scenery, the love of this country that I just don't get to see in a lot of books. Okay, and my last book for the month was Girl A by Abigail D. It's one of those books that I find I sort of want to recommend it, but then don't want to recommend it because it's it's so gritty and just raw, and it the ending I get, I actually enjoyed that it wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't an unrealistic ending to the whole of it. Like, it reads so much like a non-fic, and the reviews I've seen about it, how people are annoyed that things are hinted at, but there's no details of the abuse or the horrors that Girl A went through in the House of Horrors. And it just, I feel like that's kind of the point. I feel like the book has a bit of a commentary about human nature's obsession with the macabre and wanting to know the grittier details and the horrors of people, as long as it's not our own horrors, that kind of Schadenfreude sort of aspect. And I feel like that was sort of an intentional commentary in it. Wow, what a depressing way to end on the books for the month. Okay, so they're the books I read this month. Girl A is not Lesfic. So my first and last books of April were non-Lesfic. The rest in the middle, all Lesfic. I hope you've enjoyed my summer. I've got my full reviews over on my blog. So if you go to neencohen.com, you will see on my blog I do a bookshelf for each month, reviewing the books I've read, star rating them, whatever. And yeah, so feel free to go over and have a look there. If you like the video, please hit like. If you want to see more from me, just subscribe. And thanks so much, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.